All right.
It was quick. So do you remember watching TV or something on stage that maybe catch your eye then, or that you tried to mimic while you were a child?
I used to try to mimic everything. I think the first thing I remember is uh, I don't know. I just used to act out stuff. Like I was real into movies when I was a kid. Like really, really heavy. I used to go to Blockbuster and movie gallery and stuff and just like rent out like uh movies and stuff and just watch them all the time. Or the TV shows. I used to watch like a lot of TV when I was a
Do you
kid.
remember some of them?
Uh, when I was a kid, I used to watch stuff like Martin, Fresh Prince, Family Matters, stuff like that. Of course, like all the kids movies, like the Goonies and stuff like that. Anything back then, like anything that came out in the early '90s, you know, I used to watch all that stuff. Or anything that came on like on Nickelodeon and stuff, or like the sports movies and stuff like that, all the Disney movies and stuff. Uh, yeah, I can't really pinpoint anything that made me be like, oh man, this is what I want to do. I want to be an actor. I can't really
You had
pinpoint.
any heroes then, or maybe some actors that you really enjoyed?
Mm, I would say I was always a Leonardo DiCaprio fan.
Really?
Yeah, I was always a Leonardo DiCaprio fan. Like I used to watch you must say I used to watch Disney and stuff. So I caught the tail end of him being on was it Growing Pains? I think it was. Yeah, it was Growing Pains. I caught the tail end of him being on Growing Pains again, so I get to see him be in the movies and stuff, and he was still like kind of young. Um, and I think that when I was a kid, it was this movie called Soul Food, and it was this little boy that was on, this little black kid. I used to
Mhm.
watch him all the time, and I was like, oh man, if somebody look like me, you know, I want to do that too. To see what that's like. Um, but I really did. I was really into a lot of Keenan and Kel. Uh, Going like all that and stuff like that. Like the sketch, and that was like the sketch comedies and stuff. Then you know they moved on and do like the movies and like
Right.
Good Burger and stuff like that. So yeah.
Do you remember, for instance, doing any kind of acting in school or
Uh,
plays or in some kind of
I
artistic
think I
project?
want to say when I was in school. I did a play when I was in kindergarten. That's it. But it wasn't like a whole lot of plays going on. Like I said, none of my friends wasn't like doing it, so it wasn't acting wasn't really like the cool thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you would get looked at. It's kind of like weird. So I just stayed away from
Right.
it. It,
Hmm.
but I couldn't ignore it. I want to say I was in college and I went out there. I seen they had a theater group in Jacksonville State University. It's in Alabama, and they had a theater group there. It's the Promise Theater Group, Theater Troupe. I want to say, yeah, that was the name. And I auditioned for something and around that time, and that's the first play I ever been in.
Did you take an acting course there or majored in
I
something?
did. I did. I took an acting course there. Yeah, I took an acting course there. You know, and the little intro to acting and stuff. Then I was like, you know, I was still during this time. I was still kind of influenced a lot by the people around me and not doing what I wanted to do.
Hmm.
And it got to a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. And so I started. You know, I took the classes and stuff like that. I got into the
That's
plays.
the great things that schools in the United States have that for instance we don't have here. It's that those kinds of acting classes or courses, even in high school or
Hmm.
in university. Here it's kind of seen like a hobby,
Hmm.
something on the side, or if you have something like that in school, it's kind of it's really like an acting club, and
Hmm.
you go there, and it's kind of boring where they go and tell you to act like a flower or something like that.
Yeah, them
So
exercises.
for me, that was hard. That was my first and last lesson there. But there there's so many. great classes and courses for acting, and I think that's so important, don't you think so?
Mhm.
um, for kids, and because acting can be an escapism
Mhm.
as well. Um, One of my greatest memories here in school, because we didn't have those classes. I used to do my own shows here, and of comedy,
Mhm.
where I mixed sketch comedy and music and all that stuff. And I remember once that we had some gangs in school,
Mhm.
black people, of course, but with guns and all that. But once they went into one of my shows, and it was interesting. They went in there. People were all afraid of them.
Mhm.
What are these guys gonna do? And suddenly they were there. They were watching the show. They were participating. They were singing. And that's when I saw that no, acting can change lives. And if these guys could have something that maybe a safe place where they could go instead of going to the streets and killing each other, and where they could channel whatever they were feeling into an art, maybe their lives would be different,
Mhm.
in my opinion. Um, it was so moving to see them there. People that were labeled as the worst kind in school, and I think they were arrested several times. But they were just having fun there,
Mhm.
not doing any harm. They just needed some place where they could go and be themselves, and or feel like they
Mhm.
were part of something. And
There's a lot of
maybe,
people just want to feel a part of something too.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah. I
people
think, I
definitely
think
just.
that's it. Sometimes. Um, and I think that more money should be channeled to schools to get for the arts, and
Mhm.
get this kind of stuff where people could be part of something, and not just and how many of them maybe like you felt that you wanted to take a chance in acting, but you had people around maybe that you didn't feel like you were going
Mhm.
100%, and maybe they feel the same way,
Mhm.
where no, acting when it works. I think the community, when it works, it's so great. We have a support that it's unlike anything else,
Mhm.
I think.
It's a different field, man. It's a different field, and it's one also where you can get out your frustrations with things, and you can literally be somebody else. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's escapism. You can forget for a little while the pains and the heartbreaks of your own life, and everything that might have happened to you,
Mhm.
and use it and channel to something else. So when was the defining moment for you where you felt like you had to to go down this path and choose acting? Was it something that you felt then that you could
Uh, I
that you
always felt it. I always want to do it, but I didn't necessarily know how. The. I've been doing it, but when I decided to really truly take it serious, is when I had a corporate job,
mm-hmm,
and I was, I was making money, but I was like, I'm just putting clothes in my closet. I'm not doing anything. I'm not happy at all. And what I really want to do was, act, and I've been want to do it, and it's like you have something that's like on your back and you feel it, and I couldn't ignore it any longer, you know.
mm-hmm,
So I just decided to do it, and it was actually I wanted to do, like, I want to work in music too, and I couldn't decide. But it's crazy because I actually seen this video of on Facebook. I've never seen it before. It was a video of Tyler Perry, and Tyler Perry, he was talking about that, if you want to do something, you can do it, or what he went through. And he was like, I actually posted on the Atlanta Ashes Collective page as well. But basically, just, you can do anything. Just focus on one thing. You know, as long as you focus on one thing, you're good. You know, and you can get there. And I think it was something else I seen by Jim Carrey. It was like that. You know, you can play it safe. His dad played it safe and didn't do what he wanted to do, and he ended up getting fired from his job. You know, and so you played it safe, and you still ended up with nothing. So it just got to a point where it's like I'm not happy. I I don't want to play it safe. You know, I want to, you know, at least really swing and try and do what I want to do.
And
You
by
know,
that point, did you had done acting jobs there? Then
uh,
the
at
started.
that point I had did extra jobs. I had been extras on a background actor on set. Uh, so I really wasn't, and I did that play, and I did some plays before, but as far as like film acting, I didn't,
Mm.
at that point, I didn't do any film acting.
And
It's,
when you did those jobs, the whether it was extras or the play, did you feel like you were happy when
yes,
okay.
yes. I really love theater. It's a lot of actors who don't do theater now, but theater and live audiences is like you know, you can't replace that feeling. It's a very good feeling. It's a very good feeling. Like I love it. I love being on set. I actually recorded something independent yesterday with this, director. Her name is Tierra West. She got
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of stuff on there that she does. She's always constantly putting stuff out, but it just really feels good like to be on set as well. Like set being like acting and being on set. It's my happy place. You know, acting, being on a union set is very much so my acting place. I mean, it's my happy place as well too because uh, uh, I want to say like the best thing that one of the greatest moments in my life is when my birthday. I had got booked for. I got called back for Black Lightning for another episode. They called me back and they told me they needed me. And when I went there, I was like, yeah, it's so it just happened to be my birthday. And while I was there, they found out. And while I was doing my scene, they had stopped the whole production and everybody sung happy birthday to me
Oh,
and stuff. Yeah, and I thought that was like cool, but
that's
yeah,
classic.
yeah.
That's great. And how did your parents react when you told them that you were gonna follow through the acting?
um, let me remember. They were behind me. They were kind of skeptical at first, you know, but then everybody's skeptical when you say something like that, and then it actually they start seeing it work, and okay, now you're behind me. But at first it was kind of a little bit of skepticism, yes. But then
Because here, for instance, when someone tells their parents that they're gonna follow through with acting, it's kind of like saying you're gonna be a prostitute.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, you are pimping
you're
yourself
gonna
out, so you know.
well, but hopefully there things are a bit more modern than they are here. But
Hmm. Yeah, and
uh,
I also think that a lot of times, in my my age group, I'm 30. I feel like that we're more risk takers and stuff. We are our parents. Sometimes our parents realize dreams. You know, our parents might have had dreams of doing something because things are more accepted now than they were 30 years ago. So our parents might have been like, I want to do this or that, but it's not feasible. Like 15 years ago, it's not as many roles. 10 years ago, it's not as many roles for black actors. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it's not as many roles for black actors. So it's not a big open lane. It's not of you really have to be just special and chosen and luck because luck does play a part into this. And I don't care what nobody tell you or whatever. This luck also does play a part into it,
yeah,
but it's now with all the platforms and with Netflix and all this other stuff, it's in Hulu and streaming services. It's so many opportunities. Whereas
right.
it was a it was more of a like, oh my God, I can't believe you would say something because it was harder back then. It was definitely harder back then. It's definitely not as many opportunities. It was definitely more of a pipe dream. But
Right.
yeah.
Here it was the same thing, but in general, because when I decided to follow this path. I was 8 years old, and we had only two channels here,
Mm-hmm.
and there was not many productions. They paid very lousy, and
Mm-hmm.
even the theater was in complete decay.
Mm-hmm.
There was no movies. We had maybe a movie every 5, 6, 7 years. Now
Mm-hmm.
we had a boom in the movie in the industry, and now we're taking a downfall again. Um, but now we have four channels. We have a little bit more opportunities. There are more productions, but here we do more soap operas.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a soap opera industry.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's very hard, even for black men and women here. It's also hard.
Mm-hmm.
The last time they did something like that, it was a soap opera that was taking place in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So I myself did a try to sell a project where we would have black actors in the starring roles, and
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of screwed over that because it was kind of a no-no. But I tried my best, and they suddenly did. They took my idea. They stolen it, and they used it for that soap opera actually. So
Oh wow.
yeah, they
Wow.
used it. Actually, they use guerrilla kind of tactics here, and I remember they couldn't offer make me a deal or make me an offer for my show, but they sent offers to even known actors to steal my script.
Mm.
How things work, and unfortunately, not many people know this, but I'm sure it happens all over the world. And
Oh, it does. I've definitely heard that
yeah,
story plenty of times. I definitely heard that story plenty of times.
then they took because they couldn't get my scripts, and one of the things that I didn't want it was I didn't want black people to be portrayed like in a stereotypical kind of a way.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't get my scripts. So they took what I said in the press about some of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
They chewed it up, and they used it in theirs, but they kind of did it stereotypical way because
Mm-hmm.
it's the only way they know.
Mm.
They thought that was the way that I was doing it because they don't know any other way, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And
And I want to say that, and I appreciate you for that because I want to say that film and acting and television, the arts is so, especially film, is so important because of at the end of the day, that controls perception. You know, like when you think of 1935, you think of it in black and white most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Because you're thinking about films, you're thinking about the characterization of it. You don't know how people really were back then, you know, but you're thinking of what you have seen, how people were act, you know, how people were portrayed to act,
mm-hmm.
you know, in that time era, in that time frame, you know. So that is very important. That them stereotypes, like I commend you for that, and not having stereotypes in there.
Character that I wrote many years ago, and I actually when I first wrote it, I thought maybe it was gonna be played by a white actress, and when it came down to casting, and the only character that I couldn't find an actress that I felt was right for the part was that character,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't even write it in a specific way that it said it had to be white or anything, and but it wasn't working, and then I saw a play that a friend of mine had, and this amazing black actress was there, and she was like a force of nature. She could do comedy, she could sing, she was so talented, and I said, as soon as I saw that's her,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even care that I when I wrote it that maybe it was gonna be a white. And I'll tell you, I never changed one bit of the script. It was the same dialogue. It was just her.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even have to. So I didn't have to do any kind of special dialogue because she was black or anything. No, she was right for the part. She was
She was the
that
part.
she was that person. It was kind of it's so. I love when I have these kinds of conversations with actors, and I always feel bad that we're in different countries because we could work together. And
Yeah,
if I think
definitely.
this about you, I wish you could be here because I would have immediately a character for you in
Mm-hmm.
my project, and
Oh, that's so dope.
maybe one day we can still do
Yeah,
it.
maybe one day, man. You
Have
never
an
know.
American character,
Yeah, you got to manifest it and say that it is gonna happen one day.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
I had a South African actress in my project, and because I wanted to work with her, I decided that she was going to be a character that was going to appear via Skype.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a way of getting her there. So maybe who knows? We'll work
It's
something.
always workarounds.
Yeah, I hope so. But when you decided to go down this path, did you had a plan B or C, or
No,
did you commit entirely? No, yeah.
no, I committed fully because I feel like that if I have a plan B or C, then it's gonna take away from plan A. I'm not fully expecting plan A to work. And if anything, if I looked at if anything, I did have a plan B or C, it's going to be something that helps plan A.
Oh, that is perfect.
Yeah.
That's the greatest answer I've had to that question. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. It was always this, and it was always the path that I saw for myself. And sometimes you're forced to take other paths or works because you know
Hmm.
you have to eat
Yeah.
and all that. But
But it's
and
all that is helping plan A.
it's the hard part of this job or this art form that sometimes it forces us to deny that what which we love and
Hmm.
to survive. But what I found myself, and I think other actors that I've talked to said the same thing. It's you can try to put it on the back burner or to deny it, but it will come back
Hmm.
tenfold. When you
Hmm.
least expect it, it will go and it will bring a niche with itself, and that you can't deny it any longer. And I've
Yeah.
seen it. So, yeah. Some people have to deny it for the rest of their lives because they can't find a job or an acting job or they have to work and get their money. But most of them will find themselves to that acting will come back to them in some
Hmm.
way. Yeah. So when you started doing this, when you started in the business, were you well received by the people in the business, the pros, and
Hmm.
because there are two kinds of stories usually. You either find some good mentors when you start, or you have some horror stories. Which one is yours?
Uh, I think I have both. I think I
Yeah.
have both. I had acting teachers who had controversial acting teaching methods that I later found out wasn't
Mm-hmm.
how you were supposed to go about things. I've had my first agent. Um, I had a horror story with him where I had to get away from him. That even when I dropped him, it was somebody that threatened to fight me, and yeah, for dropping him and long, crazy, irate emails and stuff like that. But I just kept everything in stride. I probably do have like some stories here and there, but I would definitely say the positive outweighs the negative because I do train a lot. Like I'm always constantly training. A lot of friends I have are through acting class or through training. Everybody I talk to, I have some of the acting teachers I had are friends and are wonderful people. You know, so it's been it's been good and bad.
Yeah, I remember you posted. You made a post about a bad experience in an actor studio.
Yeah, yeah. That was acting studio with So what happened with that was, you know, I put the story in there. It was the first I got called the N word in class, and what the teacher, a white teacher, was saying, and it kind of made everybody uncomfortable. But I was kind of green and new, so when you're new, you don't really know. You just accept it. You like, okay, I guess this is how the industry is, or whatever. Like they do say this in films or whatever. And then, but he had threatened us to like either don't say anything, or if you say something like this, is a safe space. If you say something, I'll make sure you never work ever and again, and in this city and stuff like that, and you know, and also the person, so the person who owned the studio, they felt that it was a good idea to call me the N word to get me emotionally to a place,
Mm.
right? And which I didn't, which I felt some type of way about, but I'm thinking it's like, as black actors, we go through a lot of stuff, and that people think that we should just roll along with, and if you speak out, it's going to be something. But um, I was hurt by those, and I sat there and heard these teachers like fight for their right to say that word when it's literally no other word that's worse than that word that you can say to anybody, because there's so many people who have died, been murdered, and that's the last thing they heard,
Mm-hmm.
for hundreds of years. And it was a point when all this stuff was going on, because I always felt some type of way about it. I always told some of my friends were like, man, I don't really like that. I don't trust they said this, but um, it was when doing all this stuff happened, and everybody's posting Black Lives Matter. They posting about the thing, about the current events, what's going on. They really caring about, or at least showing they care about these things. But it's acting studio, the one who fought for their, who made it their right and fought for their place to say, be able to say this word. This derogatory term, this super derogatory term for black people. Not speak up for black people. And we are in Atlanta, and most of your students are black. And so I was looking at it, it's like, that is your intentions for saying it might have been something different, because you could have said a lot of different things. You could went about it in a lot of different ways, but it's how you chose to go about it. When you took your opportunity to call me that, but now it's time to stand up or support somebody with basic human rights. Basic human rights and people not getting killed. You're silent. And that did not sit well with me at all. So it hurt. It hurt a lot. So because I did realize that, you know, what side these people are on, who, were saying these things to me.
Did you make your feelings known to those teachers, or at least the second one?
So in class, we used to tell the teachers that the second he said a lot of problematic stuff in class. And
Mm-hmm.
we would tell them in class, like, look, don't say that. Don't say it. That's not cool. Don't say it. Don't say it. But when somebody's older, they're kind of set in their ways as well. So we're telling him, don't say these things. Don't say these things. And kind of still saying them, think it's not that serious or whatever. But it was, and it's also that if you have students who don't know where to go with what you're saying, you know, it's like you're making somebody feel hopeless. Like, what about that black actor that comes off the street, don't know anything, and they greeted with that, and they are and that if you tell anybody, I'll make sure you never, and you feel very, very uncomfortable, and you're like, if you tell anybody, I make sure you don't have a career, that you networking. And then when you get to a point in your career, when you start to know people and understand things, you like, you're nobody. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that. You can't hurt me. You know. And then it's like, oh man, that's yeah.
It's hard because these people are kind of the abusers of dreams. We're
Mhm.
all people that have our dreams and are hoping to achieve them, and they take advantage of them. It's
Mhm.
you know, I the last acting class I've had, it was kind of that kind of process that you're describing there, but obviously not nothing like that. You know,
Mhm.
just saying stuff that will get you riled up to a place
Mhm.
that you can give a performance. But I think that kind of stuff should be, you know, mutual agreement. I think, and
It's not. It's not good. It's not cool when people try to use their excuses and whatever to say these things or
mm-hmm,
call you that. Because think about it like this: if I was on a set and a director said they wasn't getting out of me what they thought they needed to get out of me, and they was like, okay, I'm gonna call you this. They just decided to call me this in action. That director wouldn't have their job anymore.
mm-hmm,
You know, that's not a good practice. That director wouldn't have their job anymore. You know, you can't you slur somebody to get them to like work. That's emotional like no, like that's abusive emotional manipulation. That is not cool at all. You know?
yeah. When I did my classes, the process was slightly different, but it was mostly soft stuff to
Mhm.
get. It was also different kind of scenes. It was nothing too
Yeah.
violent or anything, but it was to get to an emotional place, and uh, I feel bad that that kind of stuff still happens, and
Yeah.
man,
It,
and
it,
especially the abuse of power because
and it's to the point that it's like, you know, I spoke out about it, it was more, it was because of that narrative they put out that, you know, you can face damage and your career and all this other stuff can be
mm,
gone. It's a lot of people who went through this and didn't say anything until I said something. And then when I said something, that's when you start to see a whole bunch of stories that other people have. Like in so between my Instagram and my Facebook where I posted it, it's like it's hundreds of comments, right? And it's maybe about 4 positive ones. You know, most everybody has their own testimonials of like this happened to me, this happened to
right.
me, and people inboxing me like this happened to me there. I'm glad you spoke up. Now I feel comfortable speaking up. Oh yeah.
It's a tough job, and
Mm-hmm.
we have to handle these kinds of people that are so abusive, and I don't have any words, but I hope the person that did that will be found accountable in some kind of way, or the next
Mm-hmm.
person he does that to that can confront him,
Yeah. I mean,
or maybe he will do it to the wrong person one day.
I think I was the wrong person. He's feeling it right now.
Ayers.
Yeah, he's feeling it right now, and I'm just glad that like nobody else has to go through that because you shouldn't go to an acting class and get abused. You know,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're a black person and get called an N word or you're a gay person and get called, you know, gay slurs, you know, homophobic slurs or whatever, you know, or you come and you're
Yeah,
getting your accent made fun of or something like that, you know.
it, it should be another way to accomplish
Hmm.
that kind of a performance, I think. What's your take on auditions?
On auditions, what you mean my
Yeah.
take on auditions?
Um, some people like it, some people don't. Some
Oh, I
people.
Oh, I hate auditioning. I hate it. I hate
Yeah,
auditioning.
most
I'm
people
not
do.
gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna give you the answer that like, oh man, I love auditioning. No, I hate it. I love being on set. I love acting for real. Auditioning acting is a different type of acting.
Yeah,
And
but I've been asking that to several actors, and I think most will agree that the process is kind of I don't know if the right word will be rigged, but it's kind of rigged to if you kind of if this means so much to you and you're putting your whole life on it, putting down the line, and um, it's kind of a make or break for you, and you're so nervous and you can hit it out of the park, and then someone else that maybe has another field, or if this doesn't work, we'll go to another field,
mm-hmm.
and not nervous at all, and goes
Yeah. So
and gets a job, and only wants to appear for fame or from, you know,
that can that can be a little frustrating, but I think of it's like I feel that what's for you is what's for you, and you will get it.
Mhm.
You know, I quit looking at auditions a while ago. It's like, oh man, I gotta get this one. I gotta get this one. I look at it as more like as building relationships with the casting directors and people, because whereas I might do this and I might not be a fit, because sometimes it's not even about you. Most of the time, it's not about you.
Mhm.
Um, you can just because the best actor doesn't always get the doesn't
Right.
always get the role. It can be a look. It can be something as simple as you're too tall, you're too short, you know, you look too much like somebody else, or that's also on the show, or the film or something like that. Like it's so many factors to it, and I do believe like what's for you is just what's for you, and I just look at it as like doing good work every time to
But do you
try
feel
to.
sometimes that that you can have the mindset of that could be me? Do
Yeah,
you
yeah, I'm human. Yeah, definitely.
why
You
not?
do. Yeah,
Can it be me?
yeah, I
Make
definitely
it
am.
right.
Yeah, I'm human. I see stuff that I auditioned for and I didn't get. I was like, well, like, okay, it's some, but I gotta tell myself that, you know, I think it's something better coming along. You know,
Okay.
it's always something better coming along.
What's your best and worst audition stories?
Hmm.
They have to be worst, really bad, but it can be a funny worst.
My worst audition story. I want to say my worst audition story was a callback that I had for a TV show. It was for a series regular on a TV show. One of the lead cast members, and it was a callback. And I did exactly what I was doing in my first audition, but while I was doing it, they just stopped me. It was like, okay, and I didn't even get to finish. Like, okay, just we're done. No, no, this is it. Like, I probably got four or five words out. I was like, okay, we've seen everything we need to see, and yeah, that's it. And that was like the worst feeling, like at a callback, to get to just immediately feel that, like, see all them people looking at you and just like, oh man, I blew it. Um, I say that my best audition, I say a good audition story would be one of the first auditions I went on. I did.
Mhm.
Um, they kept asking me like just to do it over and over and over, and I end up getting a role. It was my first. I ended up getting a role, and it was just they was so like sold on me that they was like, we don't even want to see anybody else, and they had ended the auditions for that day, and it was in
Great.
person auditions. Yeah, so that's probably one of my best stories, and I want to say maybe that's like my second, third audition I had. I want to say, yeah.
So
Yes.
you were talking about earlier on about uh, an actor studio being a safe place and all that, and which I agree. And what's your take on the rejection aspect of the business and the psychological effect on actors?
Ooh, you gotta have a strong. You got to have a strong heart and remember what you're really in it for, because it's a lot of rejection. It's way more
Thousand
rejection.
for 1 year, yeah.
Yeah, it's way more. It's literally actors that you know now who are A-list actors who literally went years getting rejected, not booking anything. You know, so because I study a lot of I study a lot of people too as well, but it's so many rejections. But I think that you just have to have so much love for the process that the rejections don't really steer you, you know, anywhere else. Also, I think that you have to create your own opportunities. You know, you can't just sit around and wait, and you have to get out there and sell yourself. You have to get out there and write your own stuff and your own projects and come up with them and stuff like that. You know, because if you just sit around waiting, I don't think that's the, you know, that's the kind of the old way of doing things. Now they want you more to be working still.
And now you can do movies and
Mm-hmm.
film it all with an iPhone, for instance.
Mm-hmm. They have movies literally filmed on iPhones now.
Yeah, that's no way. It's you can shoot it in high definition, and there are some of them that are even on this film contests that are this that there are around, man.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays it's a lot more opportunities, or there are more ways at our disposal
Mm-hmm.
to do acting, and
Definitely.
yeah. But it's really hard, and so many people in within the acting community that suffer a lot with the rejection part.
Mm-hmm.
They sometimes they can't take it.
This is true. This is true. You know, everybody not built. Everybody is not built the same. So, you know, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, and and rejection is definitely not for everybody. But I think that you just have to remember what you're actually, you know, in it for. And like
Mm-hmm.
I said, just fall in love with the process instead of the outcome, because you go crazy thinking about the outcome with this.
I know there's a phrase, a saying that we have here in my country that I don't remember the whole saying, but it says something along the line. People sometimes don't know how hard it is for the artist not to be an artist,
Mm-hmm.
and that's sometimes what gets so many of our brothers and sisters in acting, that they are not allowed to exercise their profession, and they sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they give up on life, or live a miserable existence.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, it's
it's
that's not an option, because if it's in you, then anything else will feel like torture.
yeah.
Yeah.
But tell me, were there parts that you thought that were perfect for you that you didn't get?
You said what? Say it again.
Were there ever any parts that you felt like they were perfect for you, but you didn't get, and you thought you should?
Yes, definitely yes. Yes. The one part I can't really say because of NDAs, but yeah, it's uh, I will say it's the superhero region.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's very hard when you're so invested in it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
It's
how do you deal with that?
I try not to think about it, and I just try to keep working. You know, try to keep working, try to keep getting better and stuff like that. Um, because if I just try to, because my answer to it is that it's some things that you can't control in this, so I just try to control what I can control, and what I can control is being the best actor and keep training that I can be. So if I get to the point where it's hard to deny me, cool.
You've been in some movies, and you also been in Black Lightning, which is one of my favorite shows nowadays, and
Hmm.
that's really not just a good show, but a smart show, where they put the superhero stuff, but also the focus on the problems in that town.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, how was it working there, and or do you have any nice stories or interesting stories of being on set there?
Um, I love working on Black Lightning. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I love that set. I especially love the crew working on there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was so nice. It was so cool, and yeah, I will say the story. What I told you earlier, of them just stopping and saying happy birthday to me and stuff like that, and stuff like that. But I met Erica Alexander on set. She was in Living Single in
Mm-hmm.
with Queen Latifah back in the day, and that is somebody who I've been seeing since I was a kid, and I was like so like, oh my god, like it's her. I didn't say nothing to her. I didn't have any scenes with her or anything like that, but I would see her like on home base and stuff, and doing like lunch and stuff. But yeah, that was probably like the dopest thing, a part of it about it. Yeah, that.
And you did some movies as well, the Undo and Trunk.
Mm-hmm.
How
Uh,
that
Trunk,
experience?
Trunk Undo. Undo was another Tierra West Films. I just got done with the shooting with her again yesterday. Trunk. That was one with Robbie World. Those I really made some great connections with some people. You know, I really met some great people on them sets. I had fun. I had fun shooting them. Some moments, some moments were hard, but for the most part, I had fun shooting it. I met, people who are like really close friends now in them. So
That's good.
yeah, everything I do is like it's definitely something I learned something from. I take something from. Um, Even with Trunk, it had a premiere that was nice. So a lot of people that was there. So I I just been having fun doing this whole thing, man. I have, except the acting school parts. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Atlanta Actors Collective.
Hmm.
Who created it?
So Atlanta Actors Collective is me. It's four of us that actually created it. It's me, Rashal, Sarah, and Kevin. Kevin is the director out of the group. Basically, we would just, we would have actors night sometimes with people out our acting class, and we're just like do improv games and stuff like that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But one late night, we just got together. We decided to do something that could help the Atlanta actors community and stuff. So we started having mixers and stuff with like panels with like things to connect the dots for people with different like casting directors, some directors and things like that, talent agents and things like that. Just very informative panels. We put out a lot on the page to just try to honestly just help people. Um, Honestly, I didn't know that it would grow in the way that it did, you
Mm-hmm.
know, when it happened. But yeah, and it's been real good. I done got a lot of good feedback. I met a lot of people and a lot of professional acting relationships. I have gotten involved off of there. So
That's great.
yeah.
And I have here three questions, I think, from fans. Um, One is asking if you ever thought about writing your own material or creating something for yourself.
Yes, yes. So as part of the Atlanta Actors Collective, I don't know who I said, but we're also kind of shifting focus and about to start creating and putting out content. So we wrote a series. We started writing a series. We just got done with like a first episode of it not too long ago, like the other day. And I'm also working on some scripts. I'm writing for myself as well. So yes, I'm definitely creating my own work and opportunity in lane. So yeah,
That's great.
that's definitely what's next. You would definitely see more self-produced content soon from me.
Awesome. Another question is if you ever thought about doing theater.
Talk about what?
Doing theater.
Yes, I did theater. I love theater. I love theater. I definitely love theater. I actually had plans on doing some theater before COVID-19 hit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but obviously that's out the plans right now. But yeah, I love theater. It's like theater is like one of the things. It's like the film like it's on set. Theaters it's a lot of rehearsal. On set you do it. You might have different takes, but you see it when it come out. You don't know how really it's received until it come out. Theater when you do it and you're on stage, right then and there
Yeah,
how it's received. How they love it and whatever. So I love theater. Yeah, I definitely
yeah.
want to do some theater.
It's gonna be hard now, but with the virus, in terms of, I think
Yeah,
the theater is gonna suffer the most. Um,
definitely.
yeah, more so than the restaurants and the hotels, I think, because
Hmm.
people will be kind of afraid, and steps will have to be taken to preserve people's safety, I think, from now
Hmm.
on. Um, I went to a play, I think it was in early March when this was starting to happen all over the world, and I felt totally unsafe. I actually felt I was gonna die because it was so poorly, the from the production, in terms of the how they handle people. They put like put us in a hall in the entry,
Hmm.
all one in front of the other, breathing and sneezing one.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, for 30 minutes, and then when we finally thought that we were gonna enter the room, they put us in another hall for another 15, even
Hmm.
closer. And while the play was going on stage, people were all coughing and sneezing, and it's
That sounds
no,
like a horror story.
that's a horror story.
Yeah.
I actually felt bad for my life. But the whole time that I was there, I didn't enjoy the play. It was like 2 hours where I thought, am I gonna die? I'm gonna catch the virus, and over a play, and then even the lousy one.
Hmm.
It's kind of, but I've seen some people taking some measures, like giving out masks, and I think they're gonna do an exhausting cleaning of the room, and I even heard of they having like spraying this kind of disinfectants on the shoes of the people that enter. Um,
Hmm.
so, but I don't know if every company is gonna have the budget to do that, and so we'll see how it's gonna
You see how
go
they
on.
work.
But I feel bad for the theaters, especially for the people that depend on it to survive, because others have movies and TV, and I think that in some kind of way will survive. But the theater,
Yeah.
even concerts and all that, is gonna be hard.
Concerts,
Gonna
movie
be
theater. Is I think drive-ins are probably gonna come back now. So
Yeah, I've heard in LA that they were only allowing it on the fall of 2021, so we'll see. Big
yeah.
gatherings, yeah. Um, I have a last question here. It's kind of a sweet question from an old white lady that is a friend, but she she made this question because she's so horrified with the situation, which is,
Hmm.
when do you think the meanness of humanity will end?
The meanest of the humanity.
Yeah,
I can't say. Not in my lifetime.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
in my lifetime. It's been going
Oh,
on way before I was here, and it's gonna keep going.
yeah. It's really sad,
It is.
but I thought it was a sweet question, so I
Yeah.
wanted to ask it anyway. And she's a good person. Last question: how do you want to be remembered?
It's a good question. I just want to be remembered as somebody who was like somebody stood up for themselves, somebody that can be an example to others, somebody that was, great at their craft or whatever, like whatever they try to do. Um, I want to inspire people to go for whatever they want to do in life, you know. Um, yeah, like I just want to be remembered, not in a bad light, but just just something that can be an inspiration to people. Um,
That's good.
yeah.
And from my experience talking to you, I've seen that you are an inspirational person,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to tell you that you have a friend in me. It was my
Thank
pleasure
you.
to talk to you. I can see that you're only not a very intelligent person, but you're also a talented person.
Mm-hmm.
I've spoken here and with past guests that, for instance, for me, the way that I cast is I talk to the person and I
Mm-hmm.
get to know her and I can
Mm-hmm.
see the potential of her just talking, and I can see so many sides of it, and I can then go write in something for her or
Mm-hmm.
him. And I think so many people, that's why I don't like the casting, the auditions process. I think
Mm-hmm.
talking to a person, you can tell a lot more of their reach and their talent, more so than put them on against the wall in an audition where they're nervous and sometimes things don't go the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think you're not just a very intelligent person, you're a very talented person, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Like I said, you're a friend of mine now.
Thank you. I appreciate that, my brother.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and I love this conversation. It was really great.
Me too, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All the best to you. I'm
Yes.
gonna keep my eye out for you, and I think we'll hopefully we'll work one day.
We will work one day.
Yes,
Manifestation.
put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Jeremy.
Okay. You
All the
too.
best.
All right, so.
See you soon.